Hello everyone. Today we are going to create the SAPUI5 list control and we are going to load it inside this panel. And to do that, in our previous video, we covered how to create the SAPUI5 panel of the R control and how to put the other elements of the UI inside the panel and how to manage it using the SAP standard CSS. Now in this video, we will create a car details UI, something like this, which is having a option of expandable panel. And to do that, I will go to SAP UI5 demo toolkit to get the control, the XML. And I'll go to the samples and I will search with panel. If you are not familiar with the SAP UI5 ondemand.com, the hana.ondemand.com, basically the SAP UI5 demo toolkit, I have a separate video of 5 to 6 minutes. Please watch it so you will get an idea how to utilize this SAP UI5 demo toolkit. Now you click on panel and I want a panel with a feature of expand and collapse. So I'll click here and yeah, this looks good. I tell you from where I'm taking the reference. I'm taking the reference from this application which we are going to build. So till the upper part we have created and now the lower part we are going to create the card detail and there's a list of cards that we are going to load. So let me run our existing application which is SAP UI5 my bank details app. So let me go to my bank underscore details and I will run using the command. I'm just making it bigger so you can see it clearly. Let me double click. Now you can see the commands clearly. So my bank, I'm inside my bank details application and now I will run npm run start and it will open the application in next app. If you double click it, it will be in full screen mode. If you double click it, it will be normal mode. In the same way, this is the feature of SAP UI5 Business Application Studio. If you double click on the file name, it will be expandable. So you can see what all code is there. This is our XML file. This is a root view where we have one core fragment. Everything is getting loaded inside it. And let me show you, this is our core fragment where we have other fragments which are getting loaded. So this is the fragment which we have declared here. This is that fragment. Now, after this fragment, I want to add one new panel and I have figured out like this is the kind of panel I need. So I'll go to the source code by clicking on this show source code button and I will copy this panel. And why this panel is expandable? Okay, let me just remove this text because it is not required. We need content because inside content we'll put some new text and other elements, whatever we required. If you will notice, panel is giving some error. It is because we haven't defined an ID. So I can give it a panel of what? Panel of card. So I can say P4 panel cards. Now the panel is defined and there's a header text panel with header text. The application is getting loaded automatically. So we can check what all changes are there. And if I move to the application, I will see the panel with header text is loaded. So this text I have to change, and with a reference application, we have to replace the text with cards details. So I copy this text, I go to my application, and here on the header text, I paste it. So now the header text won't be the one which it was earlier, and the header text would be changed. And in content, we are going to load a list. So let us find this list from SAP UI5 demo toolkit. Now our card details is loaded, but right now there is nothing. If you will notice, panel is closing here. Inside we have content. Whatever I will write inside the content would be displayed on the panel. If I give it a text, any property like text, and if I say, okay, I think this much you are already aware. And if I close the text, it should work fine. ID will, because this is just for example, I'm taking it. So now let's find the list that we are going to create inside this panel. So there are multiple type of lists. If you will see, this is an action list item. Action list item. This is a list. If you will see, there's a list display list item, just to display something, some data, right? Name, street, address, right? We can also display the customer address here in this type of list. And there's a feed list item. So there are different kind of list item. What type of list item we need? So for that we have to do a manual review We have to keep this image in mind and we have to find something similar to it. So without wasting much time, I tell you it should be standard list item. So we are checking what all standard list item we have. This is not looking exactly as, yeah, this might be somewhat relatable, and this might be somewhat relatable because there are images. I'm just checking one by one. I think this list looks exactly the same that we have. So we'll copy the source code of this list. And there are different properties. So if I can copy this list, from list to list, we have to copy. One thing we have to keep that in mind is the libraries which are declared on top of the view. We have to declare the same library. So MVC and SAP.m, these are, and SAP core. These are common libraries, 2, 3. So whenever you define a view, always define these libraries. It is already there. I'm copying from list to list. Now I'll go to my source code. So text is visible. Let me see. Text is visible. Hello world, right? So instead of hello world, I want my list to be loaded here. I just copy pasted the code as it is. So if I will run the application now, which is already running, and later we will do the code alignment also. Now let this application run and see if anything is getting loaded or not. I just copy pasted the code. I haven't made any changes here. So you will notice something is loaded, but there is no data. Inverted info state something header is coming. Why there is no data? It is because every property is binded here. So when everything is binded using the binding syntax, so this curly braces is a binding syntax. So it is not fetching the highlight and info and the data because this item path is given for list. So how list is getting loaded? First items are loaded. Based on the item defined here, these list items would be loaded. But right now there is no, this is called JSON binding that we are going to learn in our next tutorial. So for now, let's remove it because right now we don't have any such path, right? And I would also suggest you to remove these curly braces. Just keep a title. I mean, whatever the data is there, just keep it as it is and remove all the curly braces. This we have to remove. And then we will see how the application is looking. So info state is giving error, and it is because the info state property does not have a value called highlight. Even highlight also doesn't have any value called highlight. So let me replace them with some value called error. As you see, when I write error, there is the error, that error is also removed, right? If I write success, these are the things which are acceptable. And it is also giving us some error. It is because the ID is not defined. So I just give it a ID as card1. That's just an ID. Later we don't have to define ID for all the list items. Only one list item ID is enough. But right now we'll define other list item as well. That's why I'm giving it the ID card1. Now you might ask, from standard list item, how do you know that info state error property is correct or highlight success property is correct? So last time I have given you a demo that how you can utilize the SAP UFI demo toolkit. So if we want to know about standard list item, we have to go to the API reference. If we will go to this, it will come automatically API reference, and you see the standard list item directly. From where we are coming? From samples. Whenever you will move to the source code of any sample, like we were in the list, right? This list we identified, then we move to the source code. We have to go to the API reference. Now here we'll find all the details, what all properties are available for standard list item. So in standard list item, I got to know that there are different properties for info state, and I got to know you can put error, warning, and success. These three are the major info state that you can put. So wherever the display related, warning means yellow kind of color, success means green color, and error means red color. Error always displayed as red color. So from API reference, you can read about it. You can read what I can define in title. So you can read, it defines the title of the list item. So whatever the title you want to display, it would come here. Right now, there is some error, might be. Let's see. Okay, it is getting loaded. I think it was earlier, there was error. That's why it was not loaded. So right now, still I don't have any data. Inverted info state and no data. First, let me change this inverted info state. So this is the header text of the list, inverted and first step. Let me remove this property itself because we do not need header text. And why the data, this is standard list item data is not loaded, it is because here we didn't remove the binding syntax. So I suggest that we remove the path also, because right now we are not giving any path. So just keep it simple, only items, and don't define anything there, not even the curly braces. If you define curly braces, what will happen? It will look for the binding. And since the binding is not available, the data won't be loaded. But right now what it will do, it will not look for any path. It will directly see what is the list item defined. If there are correct properties, it will display it as it is. Like it will display title as title, description as description. Let's see. If I open the card details, I'm getting title as title, description as description, and this is something called info stat that I'm getting, and I'm getting one checkbox also. So right now we don't need a checkbox. We just want to display, because if you will see, there is just display details are there, no checkboxes available. And this is also small, so that I will show you how we can change the width. So now we have to make the change. This is title, this is description. If I will take the sample image, this is I think title, and this is the description, right? So I can copy this title as it is, because we can't write so much of it, will take a lot of time, and I just paste it in the title. Now I copy the description and I paste it in the description. I'm keeping it very simple for you. Generally, the data we get, we don't get it in this format. We just get a date. Everything we have to put here. So we can write it here. We can dynamically fetch these values. We can edit them in formatter file. There's a formatter concept that I want to like that we will understand, but I am not covering everything in just one tutorial. It is because you understand the need of it. Why do we need formatter? Why do we need the JSON model? What is the requirement, right? So we'll understand it one by one. First, you just basic level, you understand how to load a list. If you are a pro SAPUI5 developer and watching my tutorials, so I would suggest you that you watch my individual videos where I take one topic and I explain each and everything. This tutorial is for a newcomer, is for a beginner who are beginners. So those people can, if you follow as it is what I'm teaching you, you will learn SAPUI5, and you not only learn, in some time you will be able to teach other people. This is for sure. So title I have copied, description I have copied, and if I check, my title is loaded, description is loaded, but this checkbox is coming. So let's remove the checkbox. And if you will see, the list has a mode, multi-select. Multi-select means checkbox for all the list items. So remove this property. If you want to read about it, everything is available in API reference. If you will go to the list control, right, the parent control of the standard list item, which is sap.m.list. So you can actually find out what are the modes available in the list, and that you will do with some practice. So just practice with simple controls. Later we'll understand. Now checkbox is removed. Now this place is empty, and if you will notice the existing sample image, there is some icon. Find where is the icon. I think this is the icon, but since there is only a string value we have passed, so no icon is visible. So let's find the icon. Go to the demo toolkit. Demo toolkit is the single source from where we can get everything. Go to the tools, go to icon explorer, click on SAP icons, and now here you search card. So there are lots of cards. This is credit card, debit card. So I copy the card, credit card, because we have provided credit card details, and I will copy this SAP hyphen icon colon double slash credit card. I'll copy this, go to my application, and I'll paste it here in the icon property value. Icon is the property. This is the value. Description is the property. This is the value. Property of what? Property of standard list item. So if you will learn it in this way, that there is a standard list item. What is standard list item? It is a child control of the list. And what is list? It is a sap.am control where we can load the multiple list item, right? So now if you will notice, you will see the icon is coming. But still there is a color difference. Here it is coming red, it is coming green. For us, it is blue. And this value is also coming as active, but the one which we are working on is coming as info. Let's see, where is info? Here is info. So it means we have to change this. I make it active, and the info state that we are giving, there are two kind of things. First is highlight, Second is info state. So if info is active, then info state is the color of that info. If info is active, then info state is the color of this particular box. And highlight is this left side green bar. You can see green line. This is the highlight. Sorry, I forgot that property name, so I had to come here. So this info state, if it is active here, let's check what kind of info state do we have. In standard list item, if I'll go to properties, we already checked that there are three kind of info states that we can check. But still, you read about the info state. There are error, warning, success. So if I don't pass any, if I don't pass error, if I don't pass warning, if I don't pass success, let's check what happens. Okay. So instead of info state error, I'm keeping this as blank. I'm not passing anything. So what happens? Ideally, I think application won't run because I just want to display how the default color looks like or how that blue color we can get. So right now it is coming as inactive. This is like inactive, right? So the info state, there are other info states also. It is not about error, warning, and success. There are other info states also. There is an info state called default. Oh, sorry, there is no default. I can say positive. Let me see if uh, some something I get. Okay, there are okay. It is giving us these utensils are really great. I mean the SBAS is providing us that you can put the value error, you can put information, you can put none, you can put success, you can put warning. So I think information is the one which brings the blue color. Information now it is not giving us error, right? So information will check which color it is. I guess it would be the blue color because I was missing this value name. If I open the card details, now it is coming in blue. For our sample image, it is blue, but the highlight is also blue. And right now the highlight is green. So why we are doing it one by one, I'm making you understand what are the significance of these properties. Now the highlight is success, that's why it is coming here green. If I make the highlight also information, it will also come in blue. Since it is green, now when the application would refresh, once you run the application locally and you make any change, the application would be loaded automatically on local server. Now if you will notice blue, blue, everything is coming blue. Now our first list item is ready, correct? But here we have three list items. So let's create one more. Now this is the area of standard list item. This is loaded inside the items aggregation, right? Items is like a parent for standard list item. Okay. So there's one standard list item. If I will copy paste as it is, there is two standard list item. If I copy paste as it is, there are three standard list item. Okay. Instead of giving the ID one, card two, and card three, I can give because ID should be unique. This master data and this debit card, these details we have to change. So from our sample code, sorry, sample UI, I copy it because see here the type of the card is MasterCard. Here the type of the card is Visa. Here the type of the card is MasterCard. So these cards, the information is important because Visa is a different company and MasterCard is a different company. So I copy this as it is. I go to my application code and I say instead of this value, just display Visa value. And instead of so above one was debit card, the type of card is debit card. Here the type of card is credit card. Here the type of card is debit card. So I have to change this. We can't keep the same value. I have changed it. Similar way, I will change for the third one. Third, we have created the third list item also. So I will change the title for the third list item. I'm just making it as it is. So since I can copy paste the value, it's good to copy paste because if I will write it, it will take me a lot of time. I'm really bad at writing. Now this is done. So few things we have to change, and I think you have got the idea. That's why we have created different standard list item. We have passed different title values, description values. But what about these values like highlight, info? We haven't passed anything here. All are active. So if all are active, everything would be blue. So that's why everything is coming blue. Now I have to change it as per my need. Now I'm saying that okay, this Visa application, sorry, this Visa card is expired. So don't display it in active mode. And this value also change. You mentioned that it is expired. So what I will do, I will come and I know that if I will change the info value, this value would be changed. So instead of active for second card, I am saying in info that it is expired. Expired. And I say that you highlighted it not as a information but as error. And the info state should also be error. This should be highlight, should be error, info state should be error. Now what will happen when I will see my application? I will understand. I will see this value has changed, expired, and the info state is also changed. So just by looking at this list item, I can say, oh, this is expired because it is highlighted in that way. Now this card is active and the third card is also active. So third card, we can put warning. We can say expiring on, we can give some date like that. Let's see what we have given here. We have given expire, active, active. So we have given active for both. Okay, so one we have to make active also. Okay, so I keep the info as active. Instead of highlight information, I'll put success. And for info state also, I will give the value success. Now if I will save, I will see my the application is loaded and all three list items are coming. So this is for an individual user. I think this is looking great. Here we have given the width property. That's why it is looking in half. If you want to do so, you can actually give a property in the list and the property name is width and you can set the width 50%. If you will mention the width 50%, it will take the area 50% of the panel. Why it would take the 50% area of the panel? It is because it is loaded inside the panel. There is a panel. Inside the panel, we have list and inside, if I will reframe, okay, let me just refactor this code, format this document. Now it has, I mean, it is looking somewhat readable, not so much, but still you can read. So there is a panel. Inside panel, we have content. These all are closing tags. Inside panel, we have content. Then we have a list. Here list is getting closed. Then we have items inside list. Inside items, we have standard list item. And this standard list item is also getting closed at the end. So like that, all three of them are getting closed. And that's the reason all three standard list items are visible here. Now we will check. We have given the width property to our list control. So that's where the width is reduced. It is the width of the panel, which is taking as a reference. The list width is taking the reference of the panel. Now our MasterCard details and Visa details, the card details are also loaded. Now in next video, we will understand how we can put one user profile here locally or how to read it from data. So right now we are not using any OData service or any backend service. Later we will use one Node.js service. We will create Node.js service using the same tool, which is SAP Business Application Studio. It is very simple. Node.js service will create, and that service we will bind with this. So what will happen? All these details would come from a service. So you will understand the backend. You are understanding the front end. That's why we are keeping the course very simple. Later, when you will proceed in this course, we will come to the higher level. We will talk about more advanced concepts. We will understand the backend part. We'll understand the system design, and we will understand how everything is connected and how we can make the best use of it. What best practices we can follow. If as a UI5 developer, if you will show somebody like this is what this person has done, copy pasted the description, the title, he might laugh and they might say that, okay, this is not the way to do it. But you have to understand why it is not the right way to do it. Because first we should have JSON data to display these details. Now this is just card details. Assume if I have a list of 100 items, right? So in my app view, I put list and I put three list item, right? If I have 100 list item, this page would be like more than 1,000 line of code would be there, right? Which is not good. So I mean, as performance wise, it is not good. How much code you will write? How much time you will write standard list item? And what if some item like I want to this visa detail now user has changed? How it if you will hard code the value here, this value would remain same. It will never change. But if you will bind this value with some data source, whatever the data is there in backend would be displayed here. So once you understand binding, you don't have to play with data. The data part is completely on the backend that we will learn. Now for local working, for understanding of binding, we will learn about JSON binding, and that we are going to do in the next tutorial. And I will cover the complete JSON tutorial, so you will have a good idea about it. Now, since our application is almost done, at least till this part it is done. If you want to get the source code, so we have to push this code. So I create a new terminal. I hope it is visible to you. And here I'm going inside my bank details application, bank underscore details. Where this application is on the left hand side, this is my application, my bank details. Now what I will do, I'll push this code. So if you will visit Tech India GitHub page, and if you will visit, if you'll click on this cat icon, you will see all the repositories. So this is my bank details application, and what I'm doing, I'm creating multiple branches. Like when we created fragment and dialog, I created a separate branch. When we made changes related to IHN and Spanish tax, I created a separate branch. For now, we have hard coded everything here. Okay, one thing before pushing the code, I want to tell you is that, see, this our goal was to keep everything in fragment instead of putting every code in the view. So what I do, I should put this code also inside a fragment, because if we have a card fragment, right, that would be much better. Like we have bank details, so everything is this, all detail are inside this fragment, right? Same way, why we are keeping so much code here, we should keep it inside the fragment. So we will do it when we will do the JSON binding, right? Because these three items won't be there. Instead of this, only one list item would be there, and dynamically we will load the data. Whatever data you are seeing here, right, this data will put somewhere else, and we will directly load the data. Okay, so that's why I'm keeping it as it is, and I'm pushing the code. In next tutorial, when we will do JSON binding, we will put it inside a fragment. We'll create a separate file and we'll keep that inside the fragment. Okay, so the code would be more readable. For now, I'm pushing the code. So I will open the terminal. I'll open new terminal. I'll create a separate branch. So assume if you come to the JSON model video, if you are watching, you can go to Tech India, my bank details app. You can go to branch and you can select the branch, whatever the branch is there. If you are starting from fragment, you can go and code. You can download the zip, and then you import that code in a SBus. So if you don't know how to do it, there's a separate video. It will take only 2-3 minutes to see it. So there's a title called SBus. I think on our YouTube page you can probably find. So I can say Vectors India YouTube, and I can probably show you. Okay, there are multiple videos that we put. Yeah, but I won't. Okay, it is not even coming. Okay. See, guys, when we search on Google, it is not even coming. Anyway, maybe one day it will come when we search TECHTUTOQ. Okay, I'm doing a mistake. I haven't put this word. So, but after putting Tech Tours India is still is not coming. Maybe I can search with SAP Business App Studio TCS Tech Tours India. No, okay, let's leave this thing. Let me push the code, so you will get, so that there is a video that I can actually put a screenshot of it while editing. So you can find the screenshot on the right side, or here you will find the screenshot of that video that you can watch if you don't know how to import it. And if you are following my tutorials, then definitely you will know about it. So now this updated code should be inside our Tectos. Right now there is no branch with the name like SDK. So we started, this is second part of that video. So we started this tutorial with the name SDK. So I'll keep the branch name also SDK. And so let me make it big so you can see it clearly. Okay. Now my project is cd my bank underscore details. And now I need to push the code. So first I will put get init to initialize the report. Sorry, get init should be together. So now it is initialized. Now I need to push the code, and I need to push it to a new branch. So I will say first command is git add and dot. So it will add all the files, newly created, edited files in the local repository. Now I need to commit, right? So I can say git commit, and for this the command is hyphen small m, and I can put commit name as SDK part 2, like this, because earlier we created the part 1, and now all the files are committed. There are two files. Now what I do, I say that git branch hyphen capital M, and I can give a branch name here, whatever the branch name I'm deciding. So I'm deciding SDK underscore UI5. I think this would be a good branch name, because here you will understand about the SDK. In the first part, you understood about the SDK. So all the source code you will find at the same place. Or I can say, for your understanding, list, and I can say panel, because first we understood SDK, then we understood UFI, then we understood list, then we understood panel. So this is quite big, but I think for understanding purpose, it is good. Now our branch is created. Now only one action which is pending is git push. So why long branch name is not useful is because now, so for push, it is hyphen small u and origin. Now I have to write the branch name. So that's why keeping long branch name is not a good practice, but we have to do it because we are learning everything from scratch. Great, our code is pushed. If I go to Texas India, right now there is no branch. If I just refresh it, I'll find a new commit that I have to compare and pull. So this is for merge into master, but our branch is created SDK UFI list underscore panel, right? If you'll click this, you'll get the updated code. Now compare and pull also we can do. I can show you how to do that. SDK part 2, this is great. Correct. All checks. I mean, you don't have to write it. I'm just writing it as a, okay, create pull request. I have to create a pull request because I want to merge it with the master. Now it is, everything is fine. Merge pull request, confirm merge SDK part 2. So it's that simple. Now what happened here? We have merged the code SDK part 2 with commit code that we have merged with the master. So if you click on master, and if you take import directly from HTTPS link, you can say git pull, and you can provide this URL, so it will pull automatically because this is the active branch. But if you want a specific branch code like SDK UFI list panel, for that you have to download it. There is other way also if you are the admin. So in that case, you can go to the settings, you can go to the branches option, and you can make that branch active. So what will happen whenever you will take a HTTPS clone of your repository? So which is the active branch? If the active branch is SDK UFI list, this code would be fetched. Right now the active branches, see, this is default branch, that means active branch. So then master is the default, so it will automatically fetch. Here you select whatever, doesn't matter. Here it will only fetch or clone the repository which is active. So yeah, so this is it. Let's make it small again. Okay, so our code is pushed. Whenever you have to take a clone, take it from here. And whenever you need a specific code, if you, best thing is you can actually copy paste it. You can go, you can see which file got changed, right? And instead of writing all the code, you can actually copy paste. So this is what we created, right? List we created, panel we created. You don't have to do anything, just copy paste it. With copy pasting is also an art. If you miss a single thing, like if you mention panel, everything you have copied, but you forgot to copy this last closing tag, your application would crash. It won't run. So when you copy paste, you come across these kind of issues, and that's how you learn. So copy paste it, there is no worry. And if you want the latest code, take it from the master branch. Thank you so much.